Nimali Henry was considered the light of her family, and she never shined brighter than after baby Elijah was born before Thanksgiving 4 years ago. But 5 months later, Henry died on the floor of a jail cell.
Nimali had her baby around this time, around the holidays, so we remember our last holiday with her. It was so amazing with her and her baby. Now, there's no holiday without her.
This season, the family thought they would at least have some closure. Prosecutors had nearly finished presenting their case to a jury last week when Andre Dominic, one of the 3 defendants accused of violating Henry's civil rights, shot himself in the midsection in what's being called an unsuccessful suicide attempt. Now, a new trial will have to be held sometime next year.
We was thinking that we're going to be able to have justice and let Nimali rest in peace, but we're going to have to relive it again and see it again.
Henry's family and others questioned why she was even jailed in the first place following a minor domestic confrontation as she tried to retrieve her baby from the father. All of those questions came flooding back when prosecutors played jailhouse video of Nimali stumbling, barely able to walk, then lying on the floor as she died of a rare but treatable blood disease.
Seeing how painful it was and seeing how she was treated was almost unwatchable.
Nimali is an angel. I feel sorry for all those who did her wrong.
No new trial date has been set, but following a psychiatric evaluation, the judge ordered Dominic held in custody as a possible danger to himself or others. Mike Perlstein, Eyewitness News.